The 2023 Kia Sportage is now in its 5th generation, and believe it or not, the Sportage model is Kia's longest running nameplate. But as a subcompact SUV, it faces stiff competition in a category which lacks anything but options. There's the Honda CRV, Chevrolet Equinox, Hyundai Tucson, Nissan Rogue, Subaru Forester, and Toyota RAV4, just to name a few, because trust me, the list goes on and on. But in 2023, Kia hopes a more expanded trim lineup, a larger overall vehicle, and newly introduced hybrid technology will be enough to convince consumers to purchase the Sportage ahead of the competition. But I'll let you be the judge. Here's what's new and how the Sportage can potentially fit into your lifestyle. For 2023, more than a few features have changed or been elevated with the Sportage. First, the overall length is 7.1 inches longer than the previous generation. The profile height has increased, and rear passenger leg space is now said to be class leading, but in my opinion, it's the boomerang style LED daytime running lights up front, which surround the updated design of the floating tiger nose grille and the futuristic Kia name knot-shaped taillights, which are connected by a thin black graphic across the tailgate, make this all-new Sportage anything but boring and very different from its competitors. The price has also increased for 2023. You can purchase a base model front-wheel drive Sportage for an MSRP price tag of $28,595 to the top trim all-wheel drive for $41,395 before tax or delivery fees are applied. Now, when it comes to the engine lineup, the Sportage is finally able to compete against its own cousin, the Hyundai Tucson hybrid or plug-in hybrid. But it can definitely go head-to-head against one consumer favorite, such as the Honda CRV hybrid. Now, to clarify this week, I've had the pleasure of driving the regular gas-powered 2.5-liter four-cylinder 8-speed automatic transmission. This is producing 187 horsepower, and it also has 178 pound-feet of torque. And although this isn't the hybrid model, Kia suggests improved fuel efficiency by up to 8%. And personally this week, I'm on par with Kia's suggested averages, with 9.5 liters to 9.6 liters when you combine both city and highway driving. Now, full transparency, I left it in normal mode because gas prices are ridiculous and because I didn't like sport mode. And if you watch my test drive at the end, you'll literally hear why. Powertrains aren't the only new options for the 2023 Sportage. Kia has also expanded their trim lineup, with the Canadian market receiving 6 and the US 7. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options remain, but if your family is more on the adventurous side, inquire about the all-new Sportage X Pro and X Pro Prestige models, which focus more on off-roading and come equipped with 17-inch wheels and all-terrain tires, and provide an elevated ground clearance of 8.3 inches overall. This particular model, being the top trim X-Line Limited in Canada, which is comparable to the SX Prestige in the US, receives the larger 19-inch alloy wheels and come standard with all-season Michelin tires and all-wheel drive. I'm a huge fan of Kia's DriveWise driver-assisted technology suite of standard features because seasoned drivers like myself receive more driver-assisted tech than we need, but all drivers can benefit. That said, regardless of trim, all Sportages come equipped with high beam assist and forward collision avoidance assist with car, pedestrian, and cyclist detection. Then you receive lane follow assist, lane keep assist, and rear parking sensors, just to name a few. But with the X-Line Limited or SX Prestige in the US, you receive cross traffic alert in the rear and a 3D surround view camera and video blind spot monitoring, which is a favorite driver assisted technology feature of mine. And essentially what it is, if you're new to this, when you're using your turning signals, whether you're on city streets or on the highway, a video is projected through your driver cluster indicating if somebody's on your left-hand side or right-hand side, helping you to see your blind spot. Personally, I feel as though this technology should be offered across all trims. Besides the updated exterior and the all-new powertrain options for 2023, the inside of the X-Line Limited and SX Prestige in the US has also been elevated, because I want to clarify that, because if you like what you see, this is, like I just said, all elevated. So I have a blend of synthetic leather with real leather. I also have hard plastics, but it looks good. You actually don't know that it's hard plastics until you touch it, because this faux wood trim panel is done really, really well. But also, one of my favorite features, huge panoramic sunroof, all power operated. These front seats are also power operated. They're heated, ventilated, and the steering wheel is also heated. To turn those functions on, the button's located up here. I'll circle back and go through a little bit more, but for now, again, with the X-Line Limited and SX Prestige, you're going to receive two 12.3-inch screens. Your infotainment system is both a touchscreen and a swipe-through. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless mobile charging and navigation are all standard. Then you also receive one 12-volt port up here, one USB, and one USB-C port. The Sportage's tow rating is 2,500 pounds, and the payload capacity, and that includes what you can store on top and inside, including passengers, is 926 pounds. Now, Kia claims that the Sportage offers best-in-class rear cargo capacity, and at first glance, they're right, but the numbers change when the seats fold. So look down in the description. I'll provide you with comparisons against their competitors. Now, when these seats do fold, they fold in a 60-40 split. You have convenience handles on the side, which allows you to put these seats down from here, and then you're gonna have to manually go and put them back up. Then you are offered a cargo cover in the upper trims, and then 12-volt port connection with a light here on the left-hand side. Now, this is really convenient. I like this. This floor is completely removable, or you can change heights, so you gain about additional inch. And then underneath the trunk floor is where you'll find your temporary spare tire. Then I saved the best for last. So your power liftgate is just that. It's a power liftgate, and it's adjustable in height. Just hold it in your preferred place, hold the button up here, wait for the beeps, and it automatically sets. But make sure you go through that infotainment system, because you're offered a smart trunk. So with the key fob in your pocket, purse, or hand, simply approach the back of the trunk and it will automatically open with you, absolutely motionless. But again, like I said, make sure that it's activated inside that infotainment system. Previously, I mentioned how Kia suggests that leg space is now class leading in the Sportage, and when I compare it to the Subaru Forester, another vehicle that I had the privilege to review, I could 100% say that's true. I'm also confident that if you have a small family or taller teenagers, or if you travel with adults, everybody will fit comfortably just fine. This rear seat is also heated on the exterior. To turn on the heating for your seats, use the button located up here. They also recline by a lot. It's really impressive. Now, as for storage, the front side doors are decent, on par with the rest of the competitors in the segment. But back here on the doors, it's only good for one cup or bottle holder. And then on top of here, you can take advantage of your two traditional cup or bottle holders when nobody's sitting in the center. Connectivity, again, Kia does really well with connectivity. You receive one USB-C port on either side of the seats here, and convenience hooks, and then the pockets on the back of both front seats is quite large. They just, you know, they're not overly flexible, but I love this feature. So behind the front headrest, you can place a cell phone or a small tablet. Last few features before I hit the road. So make sure you look down in the description because I provide you with all the necessary links to make your shopping experience easier for you, and I'll provide you with warranty information as well. Now this steering wheel, well done. Kia always makes it easy to use. So on the left-hand side, you'll find your voice command, your Bluetooth, and the buttons for your audio sound system. I have the Harman Kardon audio sound system in here. Again, remember X-Line Limited and SX Prestige in the US. This is an amazing audio sound system. You also receive 3 months of complimentary Sirius XM. Then on the left-hand side, this is where you'll find your adaptive cruise control settings, and it's semi-autonomous. Kia does a really good job with their autonomous driving features. The only time it will move around on you is when the lines get separated and it can't sense that they're there, and then it will move around. But that's pretty typical with all systems. Digital driver cluster, I already mentioned, fully digital. It's amazing. You can also customize it by using the button located on the right-hand side. Now, infotainment system, both a touch screen and a swipe through, very easy to use. You're gonna wanna sit down with your Kia specialist, and I always recommend going through the setup icon and then focus on vehicle. This is where you'll be able to customize a lot of your driver assisted tech that you may or may not like. And also it's where you'll be able to set up the convenience for your doors and especially that smart trunk. Now, your climate panel is both a climate panel and your buttons for your audio sound system. This literally takes less than a day to get used to. It will be a little bit annoying at first, but once you get used to it, I love it because it just declutters the whole area. So push fan and it will turn to your climate control panel, then push the arrow button and it completely changes to your audio sound system. Again, just take a second to get used to it. I also like the fact that your gear selector is just, you know, old school gear selector. You can pound it into gear, but this is also where you'll find your driving mode selector knob. Okay, so you have a few different driving modes, and when you go through them, normal, sport, and smart, you also have paddle shifters. Your digital driver cluster changes. Looks really good. You also have terrain mode, so just push on your driving selector knob and you'll be able to see your terrain modes being snow, mud, and sand. That said, now let's hit the road so I can provide you with my final impressions from this past week. And I'm going to jump right into this engine because although Kia has refined it, it still needs some work. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into sport mode. Now, I recommend using your paddle shifters. Take a listen. Right, I throttle mash it, I'm off the throttle, and it still holds its RPM. You have to use the paddle shifters or do not use sport mode. Okay, it's not going to sound well, it's definitely not going to work well. And remember too, to change your engine note sound. Right now I have it on the lowest setting, so cabin noise is pretty decent, but when that's maxed out, man, it's terrible. I mean, it sounds, you know, cool if you like that in your, you know, basic SUV. I like loud engines and loud exhausts, but not in my family everyday driving SUV. So remember to go through your infotainment system and turn down your engine note sound. Besides that, overall comfort, yeah, no complaints. I mean, I said it previously, Kia does a really good job with all their connectivity. Even though it's hard plastics in here and you have the faux wood panel, like I honestly didn't know it was a fake wood panel until I actually touched it and knocked on it, right? But besides that, it looks really good. And I like the satin chrome door handles. This is just, you know, nice added touches. And then the dual-sized cup holders. I can put my big Esco water bottle up here, or I can just travel with the small one. So, you know, thinking like that, I just appreciate it from an everyday comfort driving experience. Now, speaking about driving, it's definitely light. So it definitely moves around a lot, especially when you're going on or off those on-ramps, off-ramps, and you want to have a bit more fun. It will feel like you're rolling a lot. It's definitely top heavy, but it's just squishy, right? Everything just kind of like floats with you. And that's good as a daily driving, comfortable SUV if that's something you prefer, right? Visibility good out the front and the sides. You do have that third window out there, but it's diagonal slightly, so just make sure you're looking over your shoulder or take advantage of that video blind spot monitoring. Best feature in the industry. I love it. Said it previously, I wish it was offered as standard, right? But what I like to do in all my videos is recommend a test drive because test drives are complimentary. So make sure you look down in the description, guys. I provide you with so much information. I try to make your purchasing experience easier for you. But for now, I'm Juliana, your automotive woman. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss How To Tuesday or Future Car Friday. Thanks for watching, guys.